Okay, when we finished up, I got everything out and sprayed it with some WD just to help the surface rust issues. What you've done is you've basically cleaned all the oils off and left it unprotected. So overnight, or the next few days, until the bike starts getting warm and a bit of fumes and that are around, you'll have all the springs and the parts that are not galvanized rust up, the screws, that type of thing. So a bit of spray WD over it helps it. So I'm just going to assemble it exactly pretty much the opposite direction that we took it apart. The TPS has an adjustment. Has to have the bike running, or it has a battery in. And, can't find those screws because I took them out. So what we'll do is we'll put it back where the witness marks are, and we'll do that as one of the tune things to do in the last little bits. Okay, I've laid them out. The way we're going to do, we're going to put two pairs together, The reason we're going to do it this way is because these little springs that go in between in the throttle assembly in here, they're really hard to line up and get the carburetor lined up and get the tab lined up with the other carburetor. So there's just a little bit of fun with that. Also work out our fuel rails, short ones, long ones in the middle, and a short one. So we start doing this one. We got the choke assembly first. Put a choke in. One thing I will do is make sure all the holes are clean. Easiest way to do that is spray some brake cleaner and down the idle screw. Yeah. So we know that that's clean, the fuel's going to come through, and through the jet holes. We know that's going to come through. One thing the brake cleaner will do is take off all the oils again, but that's alright, we'll spray it on after. So choke's clean, put our choke assembly in. Tighten it down. Probably use the right one, be helpful. Doesn't have to be ridiculously tight. We're talking about 25-year-old plastic. It just has to seat. You just want that click. Spray that coolant line. Now coolant lines. There's that one in the middle, and those two for the outer. Like that. Now, do we have a spring on these ones? Yep, there's a spring in between as well, just to make things exciting when it goes back together. What I'm going to do on these coolant lines is clean them off, clean the WD off. Add a little bit of grey silicone, and it doesn't want to come out, even though I made sure it was there. I only need a tiny this bit, and that's just for just fill in that gap like that. These seals are Viton seals. When you get the Viton seals, it's against the old ones, old rubber seals. They're a lot sturdier. And we'll just push that in there. I'm not going to put it onto the fuel ones. Yeah, I don't have to put the RTV on the fuel ones, they're brand new from the kits. Now, a little spring-loaded throttle assembly. You'll find one carburetor is a slave, and the other is the master. Has the spring on it, spring, no spring, and basically this little spring here holds the butterfly tight on the other one. So getting them together can be very tricky. So you need to go fuel, coolant, this throttle spring and or the little separation spring as well. Everything needs to go together at the same time. I just get a flathead, I just poke it halfway through that spring and lift it, and hopefully I'm able to get it in, which I'm not at the moment, without things spitting out as well. Going into a fifth dimension. Just like that. Now it's really hard to see, but basically you've got that spring on top of the tab. That's the tab that the spring has to sit on, and it sits on the bottom part of this as well. So it sits in there with the spring on top of it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Choke, probably should have done that first, but yeah, that one doesn't want to settle in. Okay, now we've got control over it. Keeping those together, because the last thing you want to do is try it again. I did forget to check all these ports. That one's coming through. You can see jet's going through. Fuel's coming through. those aside. Do these two as a pair, check. Should we do it again? Yep. 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 Getting all those plugs. Now, did I flick that choke on the last one after I put it in? These are the questions I would ask myself at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes. Yes. Nice and clean. All this coolant gallery does is go straight through. Assemble the end one. Get the separation spring. Goes on there. Get out. Full throttle spring. Set it up in here. This one has no tension on it, so you're going to have to try and hold this one as well. Not both chokes. I tested the ports. Yep, that one works. That works. Those work. That works. Yeah, bleed works. It's fine. Choke. Starter pull, they call it in the book. Ever enriching device. So, clicked. Now let's see if we can get it together without losing this spring. In. Must be able to hold this one. Lift it up at the same time. pairs. I still have one separation spring, of course. Be so bad if they weren't so tight. So nasty feeling I've forgotten something. And yes, we have to put these in between the separations. And we also have to put these in as well. Now, hopefully I can get them apart without. No. Of course not. Nothing like doing things over and over again. That's what you get. Worried about one thing, forget the other thing. Try and do this a little bit more gently. Yeah, it's not going to play that game. At least I'm getting well practiced at it. These. Yeah, where was I? There's no big separation spring between these two. O-rings are ready. Assemblies are ready. Just have to lift that spring. Might get these ready. It's the top one. Short spacer, long spacer, short spacer. two little spaces that go in there and in there. Can't do until after. This through. There's only a spacer in the bottom. One spacer. Get that all the way through. It's starting to pull down as an assembly. Just the last thing to do is to put these in. To go here and here, and in the middle, and then pull it down. But we'll get this last throttle spring in. It sits on a nib, this one, so not only do you have to close it, you also have to go higher than normal to get it in there. That's that. I have to widen it just a little bit to get this in. Hear that throttle spring trying to protest. I'm coming out if you go any wider. I'm coming out. And click. That's one. Both in. Tighten up the retaining bolts. Before we go to town on that, have we got all sort of photos? Yep. Everything seems to be looking up. Tubes are in. There's no last one wide tube, was there? No. Okay, we'll tighten those up. Looks good. Now, there's 3 of these facing that way, and 1 facing that way. We'll put the screws in them. They are the float level testing or drains, whichever you want to do at the time. You have these out, put the tool in to test the float level. Just firm. All it is a shut off. Keep tightening and I'll just crack the bottom of the float. through one way, one the other way, just so that you can access them when they're in the bike. Because obviously the frame's there, so it's giving you that to bring it across a little bit. Right. Just going to see like that. Let's start with the mains. Now I don't need to separate that main from the tube. All it is this is a tube and main jet. All we need to know is that yes, they are all the same. We checked them and they're unlocked. Unlocked. Quite a big main tube actually, which I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's just a nip. It's just a firm to make sure it doesn't drop out. Nothing worse than going all this way and then splitting a carburetor because you over tightened it. Also nothing worse than trying to tune a bike when a main jet's dropped out into your float chamber, and it'll run perfectly, it'll idle perfectly, it'll drive perfectly, it just won't wide open throttle on one cylinder. We have new needle and seats, so I might put those in next on all the kits. It has the little gauze on these ones. It's your choice. I have taken them off in the past, preferring that I want things in the float bowl rather than in the fuel rail. And I've just done this one, and what I've noticed is that in the bag it's picked up the O-ring for the mixture screw in it. You just have to be observant. That could have been disastrous as well. I would have probably seen it, but if it bottomed right down inside the thing, your float level would have been a completely different height than the rest of them. You never know. My luck, it would have done everything right except for one thing, and I've been chasing it for ages. Now I'm worried because I'm looking at each one. Let's let it sit down in there, push down. It's quite nice, quite nice fit. You can put a little bit of lubrication on the O-ring, but I know that these are covered with WD anyway, so that it's not pinching it. Try to get it the right way around. It's not pinching it or anything, it's just sliding straight down. Cool, they're all in. Believe it or not, there is another one in there. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god. That's so easy to do. Now they're ridiculous. Tiny little flathead. Now where's my G screwdriver? It's lost. Here it is. That's the other thing you can do with these things because they fit so well. Seats are all in. We'll put some idle jets in, or primary jets, or however you want to call them. You know, just use some brake clean on that one. I can't blow through it, so I'm just going to grab another one, put that one there. These might be really tiny. I can see holes through that. Yep, this one comes through. That's coming through. So I'll drop that in. Pick this one up again. Coming through. As I just put that in, I just saw a little bit of something on it. So I'm just going to take it out again. Pull it out. No, see, it doesn't want to come through now. So here's my air blower. Just what you want. On again, off again, pilot jet. Now it's coming through. Another one. Coming through nicely. Yep. That one was hesitant at first. Yep, it's going now. Again, firm. And they're easy to chip off the brass. Brass is easy to chip because they're quite delicate situation, quite delicate parts. And and the chip will go straight down the middle. Oh, but I cleaned all those pilot jets. You sure did. Yeah. You sure did. Alright, what's next? The mixture screws next. We have them in here, new ones. So I might as well use the new ones. Just tipping it on a clean area. It's ridiculous to put my big fat fingers in there. Now we have a mixture screw. We have a spring. We have an O-ring. We don't have an O-ring. We have a flat washer. Then we have an O-ring. Now what that does is stop an air leak coming through your mixture screw, because you sometimes will get this air coming through and it'll make the adjustment extremely difficult. That should stay on there. Where are you? That should stay on there. Won't come off. Just gently drop it in the hole. We know those holes are cleaned, and run it down. And it won't run it down all the way. Right, firm. Nothing tight, because you'll end up breaking the point off it. And you want to come back 2 turns. 1, 2. Now, I'm not worried about what turns it is, or where we're up to, or how many fucking turns the book says. I don't give a shit. I just come back 2 turns because that is my base setting. I'm not interested in trying to set carburetors up on the bench. It's the most stupidest thing that you can do, and spend your time and worry about it, because it's all going to be different once the thing's running. Spring, washer, O-ring. Drop. I've seen people spend hours and hours trying to bench set up their carburetors. You know, they're not that hard to take out if you absolutely have to, but if you've done the work correct, it doesn't mean you can always do it correctly. You've still got things that can go wrong. And have to take it apart again. It's just the joys of working on old bikes, cars, anything. Great fun. The other thing I'm looking for when I'm doing this is, are they all roughly the same level? Because if that O-ring and washer has dropped off and gone sideways, and you come down, you can feel it hit the bottom. And you think you've done it right, but the washer is sitting in there sideways and the O-ring's on top of it, and you're hitting the washer rather than the bottom, then all that's wrong as well. So, you know, pretty much I can see the ends of the mixture screws, and they are at the same level at the moment. little O-ring. Yep, I'm going to grab it. Stay there, yep. There's a little bit. Good, those are done. Drop in, I think the floats have to hold the, yep they do. There's nothing else in there, there's the little pilot jets, but we might as well cap off all this while we're doing it. So we hook the new needle onto the float, drop the needle into the thing and put the pin in. Maybe. Now I've got the float hung up on the needle there. There you go. Nothing like being a bit rough. Okay. Seems to be okay. New needle. There's a few more O-rings left in this kit, but this kit was for FZRs as well. And that's alright, they'll go into the not junk pile. Use them one day, maybe. Either that or the grandkids are throwing them out later, whichever way. Hook it up. Drop it in. Pin it. It's very repetitive. All this, of course, but it has to be repetitive. You want every single one the same. Cool. There's nothing else in there that has to go in. Nails, jets. Just piling everything into the corner that I've used. The air bleeds to go in next. I can put these O-rings on. Quite nice and supple, these, compared to the old ones. Wow, very interesting fit. It doesn't want to stay in the groove. How are they going to stay in there? You put them on. look at the inside. This one wants to stay in there. Slightly different mould maybe because of the opposite. Yep, straight in. It's too heavy now. It wants to tip over. Okay, nice and firm. Do them all. Yeah, that was a 5-minute job that turned into fucking half an hour. Again, we have a little air pilot jet. As long as air comes through it, they're actually quite big, so I don't think anything's going to block that. See through them quite easily. Still worth the blow. Crack. There's nothing in them. Straight, that'd be great. One more. Someone's got their petrol powered water pump out going around the neighbourhood. Okay. Nice sunny day. To do that, so when it does break down and leak oil, which it eventually will, it won't be too much of a stress to push it home. These rubber sections back in. Quick clean off. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. more. They're all done. Put the slides in. Now remember we had the gritty substance in the underneath the rubbers. So just give it a good douse with some brake oil. Carefully. Blow it off. All the holes I can see through. It's not a great drum with those. Only goes in one way. Won't go down if you don't get the needle in. Make sure the little tab's on the thing. Clean off the cap for it. Caps are dowelled and won't sit down unless the rubber's in the right spot. Just flick this up with my finger to make sure it's nice and loose, and I flatten the spring. That's the way you do things like that. Would have found out eventually. Better put a spring in. Oh, clicks now. Make sure the spring goes into the cap and then goes down. There you go. Look at that, works properly now. Fucking amazing. Feel a rush of air on your finger when you push it up, so you know that it's sitting in there correctly. There's no other way it can go anyway. You're pretty fucking dumb to straighten. Well, except for the spring, of course. Should be nice and clean. Saw a little bit of groff in there, so I'll just clean it out. Like a glove. Don't forget the spring. Wipe off. I just like to clean everything as I go because, you know, it can be sitting here for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sitting out, waiting for parts or your next available time to be able to do this work. And you might have got everything cleaned up and spotless. That rubber is just a little bit tight. I just want to make sure it's going to go down in the groove properly when it gets washed. Yeah, now it feels like it's going in. Yeah, it's gone down. Yeah, so you'll clean everything up. You can clean everything up spotless. You can put a rag over it and make sure nothing's cleaned up and all the rest of it. And it might be 2 or 3 weeks before you come back to it and you go, oh shit, where was I? Pull the rag off and everything on the rag might have gone in there, or you just do it as you go along. Beautiful. Then you know you've done it. Then you know you've got a good chance of probably you've got everything that might have been in there. Brake clean's a godsend, because when we didn't have it, we used to use petrol. It's cheaper to run your car on brake clean now than it is petrol. Yeah, you know when it's squashed the rubber down because it's gone flat in it and it doesn't move. Didn't want to pick up the needle, the jet. Rocking around. Nope, rocking around. No, I'm just stretching it out. Yep, pushed it in, I felt it. good, move good, and they all sound the same. Just opened almost just probably a bit too much. Just enough. All of them pretty much the same. No, I'm not putting feeler gauges in and stuffing around with that, because it'll all change once it's running. Now we've got the choke bar, starter bar they call it in a book. What the fuck would you call that? I don't know. Anyway. Hooked onto each choke assembly, clicks in, pulls them open, yes. Now we've got the photo washer, sorry, plastic washer. And plastic washer with screw. Screw so I don't flip them off. And screw. They can go tight because it just goes down to the step. Works perfectly. It's a bit mucky, that screw. As long as it moves and works. Yeah, we're going to see it. Now, double check our tray. We've got 4 little washers from the floats. We've got 3 O-rings there, another O-ring there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 mixture screws. There's the other springs. We've got 4 nothing else. So we must put everything back in. And some new O-rings. And we've got this stupid looking thing here. And this stupid looking thing here. That's it. Now the only drama we got was the float O-rings, float chamber O-rings. It's going to be something. It's always going to be something. Ah, little spring here. Might as well put that back on before this is chocked. That's it. One rack of carburetors. Thanks.